Hello everyone, George DeSantis here. Earlier today I sent you an email describing a new trading system, very simple system. In fact, it's entitled Simplify It, from an article published in the November issue of Technical Analysis of Stocks and Commodities. What I'd like to do now is to show you how to set up the chart that is appropriate for that system. And in order to do so, we're going to open up freestockcharts.com. So let's go to your web browser and type in freestockcharts.com, hit enter, and let's proceed from there. Once you open up freestockcharts.com, you'll be presented with a chart. Now it may not look like this. It may be on a white background. We'll see how we deal with that. So what we want to do is go to File to create a new layout. Okay, so we come down to New Layout. Right now we have a chart here, and it could be any chart really that you might find when you open it up. But there's a chart. This is a chart of the SPY, the ETF of the S&P 500, one of those. It's a 10-minute chart, so I prefer to make it a daily chart. Click on 10 minutes, click on daily, and now we have a daily chart. The next thing we should do is to change the settings. So we click on Settings, on Plot Style, and instead of having a bar for the price bars, we want to have a candlestick. So click on Candlesticks, click a drop-down menu, click on Candlesticks, and we have candlesticks. Now this color here, I have a preference for a brighter red. So we'll click on red, and we'll click on OK. So now we have a candlestick chart of these spiders. We want to put some moving averages on. So we click on Add Indicator. We look for moving average, which is here. Click on moving average. Click on price history, because that's where you want to put the moving average, on the price history. We would like to modify this and make it a red color. So we edit, we click on it, we edit, we change the color here, make it red. It's a simple moving average of the close, and that's the 50 period moving average. Now we want to put on two other moving averages, the 8 period moving average of the highs and the 8 period simple moving average of the lows. So we go back to Add Indicator, we look for moving averages again, moving average, click on price history. It puts the default moving average 50 up again. So we want to click on that and change it. So we click on it, edit it. We click on the color. I would like to make it a light blue. We have a simple moving average. It's a 50 period. We want to make that 8. And this is indicating that it's a moving average of the last price or the closing price. We want the highs. So we click on the drop down menu, we click on high, and we now have an 8-day moving average of the highs. Okay, we click OK. We go back to the Add Indicator again. We look for moving average, click on price history. Once again, it gives us a 50 period moving average, and we want to change that to 8. So we click on it, we edit, we change the 50 to 8. We change this to a light blue again because we're going to change the background in a minute. And we want this to be a 8 period simple moving average, 8 period simple moving average of the lows, as opposed to what we just did, which were the highs. So we click OK. Now we want to change the background because the white background doesn't show up the moving averages as well. So let's go to Settings. We'll go to Properties. We look for the background, the back color. We click the drop-down menu, click black. We get a black background. We could also change it for gradient, make it black. Okay, and now we click OK. We have the same color for each moving average, so we like to change that, of course. So let's make I don't know why they changed them from the light blue that we had, but anyway, let's leave it like that. For now, we're going to make the 50-day moving average red again. Just make it red. Apparently, it just changed it back to blue. So we'll make that one red, 50-day moving average. We'll change this 8-period simple moving average of the highs, and we will go make that a light blue color like we had before, and click OK. We'll do the same thing with the moving average, 8-day moving average of the lows. Edit it, click this, and click the blue, light blue. So now we have the chart set up almost as we would like to have it when it's complete. We need to put some support and resistance lines in. So let's see if we can add some of those now. If we look here, we'll see that there was some support here. This was a spider of the S&P, and we know we got a double bottom and support here. So if we were looking at the spider as a tradable, we would simply look for the drawing instrument to make a horizontal line and pick it up here and draw a support line here. Okay, just click there and we have a support line. Now we want to do, if we want to do a resistance line further up, we could do it the same thing. Just click on the horizontal line icon, move it all the way up to the previous highs and click here. So now we have the resistance line up here, okay? And we can leave that as it is. Now let's put a couple of other symbols in. Let's, for example, change the symbol to Costco. So we already have our channel set up, the 8-period simple moving average of the highs and the 8-period simple moving average of the lows. We have our 50-day moving average here. So now we change the symbol. Let's go to Costco. Okay. So with Costco, we have a chart that gives us that moving average channel, that channel of moving averages, right? Of the 8-day moving averages. And we could see that since the market made this low back in August, okay, now we see that the market went up and closed above the high, the 8-day simple moving average of the highs, this blue line. So we closed here, which is the first time it closed above the 8-day simple moving average. That would be one buy signal. Okay, so once we are in the market, we got filled on that order, we're looking to see when we should sell. Well, so it turns out that on Costco, in order for us to sell according to the Simplify It system, we would need to see a close below the 8-period simple moving average. But it hasn't had one of those closes below the 8-day moving average. We've had lows below the 8-day moving average here. We've had another low, but we didn't have a close. So we don't have a close. There is no sell order. There's no reason to sell. And this market continues to go up. And so far at this time, we still don't have a close. We still don't have a close below the 8-day simple moving average of the lows, and therefore we are holding the stock. So let's change this to another symbol, and perhaps we should take a look at a stock like Starbucks. Let's take a look at Starbucks, S-U-X. Here's Starbucks, and in this case we see an example where we had a buy and sell signal. So let's take a look at this one. The stock closed above the 50-day moving average here, okay. So it closed above the 8-period simple moving average high of the highs. So this would be a buy signal here, okay. That's your buy signal. When would you sell? Well, the stock continued to rise here, but this is the bar on which you sell. Not a very good trade. So sometimes they work and sometimes they won't. Now, according to the authors, 60% of the trades tend to work out well. Now, I don't have documentation for that, but I intend to send them an email and check on that. So since this closed below this bar closed below the 8-day simple moving average of the lows, this blue line, your sell order was here. Okay, your sell stop would be here. So you got stopped out. Now, the next buy signal would be here because we closed above the 8-period simple moving average of the highs. So we are buying here, having broken even or even lost a little here. We're buying at this level here, and we are going to hold it until we see another close below the 8-day simple moving average of the lows. Well, so far we haven't had a close below. This bar here made a low below the 8-day simple moving average of lows, but it really didn't close below it. You can see the body of the candle did not close below the line. So we would still be in this trade to this day. Okay, and that's Starbucks. Now you can take a number of examples, type any symbol in, and you could start practicing looking at these charts. On each symbol, you would need to put in your resistance and support lines. So if we did that, we went to the horizontal line, we can put a resistance, support resistance line here, and also we can probably put one of them somewhere around here. Okay, so we can put another one here. You can see that that's a pretty good support resistance line. So that pretty much summarizes what we need to set up on freestockcharts.com in order to use this simplified system that I sent you in an email. Now there's one other thing that I'd like to point out before we leave this video, before we conclude, and that is, where do the authors place a stop? Well, they claim that once they enter trade, for example on this bar here, which is the first close above the simple moving average of the highs, and in fact they might even have entered here, but let's say that they entered this trade, they would now look to place a stop below, just below the simple moving average of the lows. So they would keep moving this stop up. Okay, with each day they would move the stop up so that the stop would have been in place here. The stop would have been in place somewhere here, right? And this bar would have stopped them out of the market. Now that trade, as I said earlier, would not have been a very profitable trade, or maybe you broke even. But the stop loss orders are placed just below the 8-day simple moving average. If they entered the trade here, they would put a stop here. They would put a stop, they would move the stop up below, and so on. So that's one thing. The other thing is that they claim that they would always sell their holding, their stocks, before the announcement of earnings. They would never hold a stock through earnings because they've been hurt many times by a stock holding it through earnings and the stock drops 15% or 5 or 10%. So that concludes the video. If you would like to give me some feedback, send me an email. You have my email address, and I would discuss it further. Okay, have a nice evening.